In theater, we've had to adjust to figure out how we're going to reach our audience. With teaching, and those are the two fields that I'm in, theater and education, we have to find ways to adapt to our audience, to adapt to our students, and make sure our students get the proper education, proper arts that's needed. The pandemic showed how much, it should show the government how much arts is needed in schools, because if it wasn't for Netflix or TV or whatever you want to call it, if there was no arts out there, everybody would be, there would be a drunken mess out here. Shakespeare, I believe his words, it pushed a lot of buttons. Based off my research, his work was like a timeline of what was going on in England, and that's probably why some of his work got rejected in the beginning. He didn't conform to fit the higher ups, and it says, don't be afraid to share your voice,
Calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressors.
This first line is going to be just like how Shakespeare compared somebody to a summer's day. This first line is going to be you comparing yourself to your spirit animal. And it doesn't, if you don't have a spirit animal or you want to think of something else, you can compare yourself to anything. I've had a friend compare himself to a pillow because he's lazy. People sleep on him. He thinks, and he said he's cool like the other side of the pillow. Like he likes to make different references. And he's soft and fluffy. That's why he compared himself to a pillow. But you don't necessarily have to do that. We can shorten it. We might have to take out a word. We might have to shorten a word like how Shakespeare did, owest, growest. We might have to shorten it to make it fit, but we will make it fit. Just remember, this is poetry and creative writing, so it doesn't have to be formal. Shakespeare wasn't necessarily formal in his plays, and it still made sense. I am like an owl up in the trees. Though you can't hear me, I always see. I would say something like that. I would put it on paper and then rearrange the words. My notebook has more scribbles than words on it, because I like this. This is the process of writing. If you want me to check on what you have, please let me know, or you can, I'll walk to y'all if y'all want.
So what I got was moving in the water, jumping out, filled with fish. So filled, skilled.
All right, filled, but so we gotta rearrange the words because you use the word fill, but it ends with fish. So jumping out, on the hunt for fish to fulfill, or something like that. Something like that would work, because now we have fill going with skill. So does that make sense?
Yeah, not really.
Not really? You want to keep it with fish?
I don't know.
You think about it. I'll tell you what, because you already have your third line. Can you think of the next line? And then you have your quatrain. Okay? So far, so good. I'm curious to see what would the higher ups think, the king and queen would think if they read this poem. And he's talking about the state of the government, the state of the UK, because, and the reason why Shakespeare connects to me with hip hop is, when we began, it's all about a message. And then when we were speaking out and there was no censor, we would get blackballed, and they would say that, we are, we're wrong for the public. They'll try to censor our voice. And I think Shakespeare, they were trying to censor Shakespeare too, at least in Stratford upon Avon. That's why he had to move and, make a name for himself. I don't know, it's just it seems like he had more to say. And I think if he had the power, he probably would have shared more. And this sonnet right here made me wish that this was written, this was fresh and written in the Twitter era, where it can go viral.